So today, lads, I'm going to be talking about Aari McDonald, and we're going to be talking about why the Fever went and signed her. And we're also going to be talking about one of the weird conspiracy theories that I just don't think is true. And first of all, it's that they wanted to sign Jaylen Brown and she chose to sign with the Sun. They wanted a guard. They very, very clearly wanted a guard. And Jaylen Brown is a 2-3 small ball 4 who also probably is not going to do much for the Connecticut Sun, if anything for the Connecticut Sun. So the team signed Aari McDonald, and she's probably going to stay with the team for about a week. And if you guys don't know what the Indiana Fever's fixtures look like, she is going to be there for a game against the Washington Mystics, and she's going to be there in a game against the Chicago Sky. So I would assume, if by the time Sophie Cunningham is still a game time decision, Colson's still a game time decision, the two of them seem to be okay. So the two games they have, you're looking at the schedule, is, I was just thinking, I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna, I don't understand why they did this. She's basically another Kelsey Mitchell. The reason is they're playing the Washington Mystics. She's matching up to Brittany Sykes. She's going to match up to Brittany Sykes in this game, and she's going to match up to Courtney Vandersloot in this game. Because Kelsey Mitchell's going to take probably the Jade Melbourne or the Chuk Sutton and Ariel Atkins matchups. She's probably matching up to Sykes. And one thing we know from Aari McDonald is at least she's going to be a disciplined defender. We can never forget that Aari McDonald did guard Caitlin Clark when she had another free throw to shoot last year. She guard full court press Caitlin Clark. So you at least know that she's disciplined. And look, I would assume the Caitlin's going to be out for these two games, and it doesn't matter who you bring in. I would assume Sophie Cunningham and what's her name are going to be back by these two games right here. It's probably going to be a 7-day type thing, because they can pay her for 7 days and they can still bring in a 12th player for the end of the season, because they need a 12th player for the end of the season. But look, let's be real. I'm taking the Fever out of contenders category. I'm putting the Indiana Fever at the lowest of my could fluke it category. I originally had two contenders being Lynx and Liberty. I had the Fever in third in a borderline contenders, and then I had a could fluke it category, which is the Aces, the Mercury are in that, the Dream are in that category. The Storm to an extent might be in that category, where they could really they could absolutely just fluke the playoffs. But now I'm putting the Fever away from the category of borderline contenders into the could fluke it category. Because let's be honest, the Indiana Fever could absolutely fluke a series win against one of the Liberty or the Lynx. Could they go on and win the championship out of that? I don't think so, but they could. They could just get nuclear hot. They could get absolutely nuclear hot at any given time. But at this stage, I would say they're going to keep her for 7 days and they're going to get rid of her. I think if one of Colson and Cunningham are going to be back for this game right here, if not both of them, and they're probably going to go and leave her out. They are probably going to go and leave her out, and it's sure. Look, it is what it is. They're going to lose these two games. They're probably coming in. If they're lucky, they'll come in 3-7 after 10 games. If the Fever are lucky, they'll be 3-7. And look, it could go worse. If Caitlin ends up missing 6 of those games and they're 3-7, if they go 2-2 with Caitlin, if they go 1-5 in the 6 games Caitlin misses, it's to be expected. And then with that, you then come on a 5 or 6 game streak where you're realistically up until July the 12th, you fancy them to win every single one of these games. They're not going to, but you think they've got a good chance to win every one of these if Caitlin comes back. But I think at this stage, everyone was talking about the thing with the Fever, and it's just trying to win games against the bad teams. Get yourselves into that 7-8 seed. You don't need to win half your games to get into the 7th seed. Now you could go, there's 44 games. You could go 20-24, and you could be a 7th seed. So that's the thing now, is it's hit that 20 win mark. If the Fever hit the 20 win mark, they're in good shape. And honestly, if they don't hit the 20 win mark, I think they're in pretty good shape as well. If you somehow get yourself into the lottery, you're probably going to get an elite pick, an elite player. So yeah, it is a really interesting one. But yeah, I think the reason why they got her is because of the teams they're playing. And if it is on short term, as much as I'm like, oh yeah, Grace Berger is a better fit, but I'm like, look, it's short term. It makes a bit of sense because Ari McDonald will match up better to Brittany Sykes than either Grace Berger or Celeste Taylor. Maybe Celeste Taylor, but Celeste Taylor brings nothing on offense. At least Ari McDonald does score 8 points a game, albeit on like sub 40% from the field and 30% from three. She is a Kelsey Mitchell. And a lot of people are like, oh, she's a true point guard. No, she's not. She's Kelsey Mitchell. She's worse Kelsey Mitchell. And that's fine. That's fine, you know. Like, look, this team doesn't have any structure. This team doesn't have any teamwork. This team doesn't have any discipline. This team doesn't really have a coach. So why not just go and like literally just why not? Why not just go and get someone who might be able to score some buckets? Why not? At this stage, why not? If you're not going to get Kennedy Carter, which obviously is not going to happen, just get someone in that just gets buckets. But yeah, for me anyway, that's why I think they signed Aari McDonald, just because of who they're playing, who the matchups are, because I genuinely, I think it didn't make much sense. It's tough. It's so tough to find somebody on a hardship. There's no Odyssey Sims around. If you guys don't remember, for some reason, Odyssey Sims was available on a hardship last year. Like, Odyssey Sims already has a 30-point game this year. There's no Odyssey Sims. Like, what were the choices? Grace, Celeste, Aari McDonald, Aari McDonald is the best of these. I just don't know if she is the best fit. She's the best of these players, though. Where are they going to bring Crystal Dangerfield? Like, how many times Crystal Dangerfield was signed last year? Anyone saying Serena Sundell or Caitlin Chen does not want this team to win games. Like, if Serena Sundell went and, like, genuinely, if Serena Sundell signed for the Fever, I would be surprised if she could dribble past the halfway line. Like, people are like, oh, she needs just time. And I'm like, man, she's coming up against Brittany Sykes, coming up against Ariel Atkins. She's not getting past the halfway line against either of these two teams. And then if they have to if the point guard has to stick there for another game, Ryan Howard just is stopping him from getting past the halfway line too. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a really tough one to win either of these games. The Sky are looking better. And I think if they're going to win one of these games, it might be the Mystics game. Because again, I think the Mystics, I said this when the Fever played the Mystics aren't good. The Mystics are not good. People are like, oh, the Mystics are like the 5th best team in W. I'm like, man, if the Mystics, I was like, they're the 9th seed at best. The Mystics are not good. And the Fever got, like, they got beaten relatively comfortably by the Mystics. Like, I don't know what was the score. It felt comfortable anyway. They were in the game for a little bit. It was a 6-point game, but like, it was one of those weird games where even though the biggest lead they had was 12, it just never felt like the Fever had a shot. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, she's mostly going to be in the team there to get the ball past the halfway line. And to make sure Kelsey Mitchell's not the only person dribbling the ball. Because as of right now, there are 2 players I'm confident can get the ball past the halfway line against the Mystics, and one of them is Aaliyah Boston. Maybe Natasha Howard. But like, I don't see the Fever winning this game, even with, because Sophie Cunningham is out. As far as I'm aware anyway, Sophie Cunningham is out. Do they have her as officially out? Because, by the way, if people don't realize, like, Aari McDonald is on an emergency hardship contract because of the Caitlin Clark injury, I'm pretty sure. So somebody has to be officially out. These are about game time decisions, which doesn't make sense, because if they were able to make an emergency signing, it means one of these is officially out for the game. I would assume Sophie Cunningham's officially out. But yeah, that is pretty much it, lads. That is pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.